Hello everyone. I am Arya Motegaonkar, the convener of Energy Club IIT Bombay, and I welcome you to today's podcast session. Today, I would like to introduce you to our esteemed speaker, Mihir Parekh. Mihir is currently a PhD candidate in Mechanical and Nuclear Energy Engineering at Penn State. So, sir, my very first question to you is that can you describe your journey from being a student and reaching to a PhD level? So, what was your driving force?
Well, thank you for the kind introduction. I also graduated from IIT Bombay's Energy Science and Engineering Department with a BTech plus MTech dual degree in 2018. So that was just 2 years back. And I always wanted to contribute positively to our society. And so after the JEs, when the results were out, when I was trying to think of what branches I could take in. And then when I spoke to a few people, I realized that energy is one of the upcoming branches. And moreover, it is also a niche area in which I could contribute back to the society. So that was my motivation to take up the energy branch. And then as to come to research, so it was during my third year that I realized that I really wanted to do research. So during my third year winter, I had an industrial internship. And then during the third year summer, I had a research internship. So when I compared my experiences of both these internships, then I realized that I really like to do research, and that's what led me to pursue my PhD.
What was your research about?
So you mean the research internship?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went to UIUC's Nuclear and Plasma and Radiological Engineering department in my third year summer. And over there, I tried to design heat exchangers for cooling nuclear reactor spent fuel pool. So it was like just the beginning of research, and it was an important experience because I got that project completely to do by myself. And there was a co-intern with me who was also from IIT Bombay's Mechanical Engineering department. So typically, if you go for research internships, then what you get is you are trying to help some senior PhD students. But over there, the professor gave us the project by himself, and we were the ones who were starting that project. So that was a completely new and a different experience to us because we were like designing everything from scratch, etc. So that was a very good experience. And then I continued that project even during my dual degree project with my professor, with my internship guide's permission. And that really got me interested in research.
Okay, so you say that you have worked in cooling of nuclear fuel, right? So, one very important question related to nuclear is, can we really rely on it? Is it good to use nuclear energy?
Yeah, so there are many different viewpoints about it. There is a sort of stigma around nuclear energy because of the radiation concept, etc., and all the Chernobyl disaster that took place, which was kind of a huge disaster. And then again in 2011 we had the Fukushima disaster in Japan. So people always fear nuclear because of the people tend to link nuclear power, which is the nuclear energy, and then the atomic bomb with each other. And then in their minds it kind of appears like a big danger. And again there is this widespread thing about radiation that all people tend to hear, and that's why it has become a kind of stigma around it. But then if you look at the statistics, every year more people die and get injured because of car accidents. But then whenever there is any aeroplane accident or an airplane crash, that always gets blown up because that's very unusual. So but then if you look at the bigger picture, it's not so much of a danger. So I think it's reliable, but then yeah, there might be some danger associated with it, but it's not like completely unreliable, and it's uh, also a good way of producing energy. So I think, yeah.
Okay, then how can we say about that radiations won't harm the people living nearby?
No, so first of all, these nuclear power plants are always, most of the times, located far away from localities where a lot of people stay. And moreover, whenever a nuclear power plant is constructed, I think they take into account all the precautions that are necessary so that radiations do not leak out, and all the construction is radiation proof, etc. So these precautions are always taken into account, and I think that is not much of a danger, I guess.
Okay, yes, I agree with that. Okay, so you have studied in various fields. So, which one of them interests you the most?
So, first of all, the interdisciplinary nature of the energy science and engineering branch at IIT Bombay, that itself, gives us experience about various different fields, and the various electives that we have to choose, have to choose during our, I guess, third, fourth, and fifth year. So I try to design those electives and try to choose those electives in such a way so that I get an experience of different kind of renewable energy stuff. So I did some courses in solar PV. I did some courses in solar thermal. I did a course on wind energy. Then I did some courses in nuclear, and I did some courses in batteries, fuel cells, etc. So that's how I tried to get a feel for each of these areas. But then the batteries and electrochemical energy storage sounded pretty much interesting to me, and that's why I eventually shifted into this field from nuclear.
Okay. So there is one thing that I would like to ask, that is, we know that we can't really switch to renewables until there is a breakthrough in the battery technology. So how long do you think it will take to happen?
So first of all, the cost of storing energy in batteries has come down dramatically in, I guess, the past 1 decade or 1.5 decade. It has almost come down to 50% or 40% of what it used to be. So there is already a lot of innovation taking place in this area. But having said that, now there is a lot of research also going on in next generation batteries, because lithium ion batteries, which are like kind of currently used almost everywhere today, there over there we are pretty much close to reaching the theoretical limit that is possible. But then there are a lot of new materials that are being explored for batteries, such as the lithium metal itself, called as the lithium metal batteries. Then there are different kinds of batteries such as sodium or potassium ion batteries, etc., that are being tried out. So they still have certain disadvantages, and they are still in the research stage, so they haven't yet made it to the market. But I think with so much effort being put in, it shouldn't be far away before we get there. But having said that, there is already a lot of progress that has already been made.
Yes. So you being an energy science student, do you think that it is possible to switch completely to renewables?
So, I don't think there is any one kind of a switch which you can press at a certain time so that you can completely switch to renewables. Let's say I press a switch right now and I switch completely to renewables. But there has to be a, gradual progression, because there are many different factors involved in this. Completely switching to renewables will also require us to, integrate renewables with our grid. So that will require different development of different power electronics, different electrical machines, etc., different technologies. And so there has to be progress on the renewable front also. There has to be progress on the power electronics front also. And moreover, then again, there has to be a progress on, the training of human capital also. Because right now there are many different, there will be a lot of people who are working in these power plants, which, say run on coal, or which run on thermal power plants, or any other hydroelectric power plants. So those people and engineers working over there have right now been trained for that. So we also need to train people to, if we want to switch to renewables, to work in that field. So there has to be a gradual progress, and so certainly at some point of time there would be a switch, but it has to be gradual. We can't just shift right away or something like that.
Yeah, that's true. So what has actually motivated you to go for higher studies instead of opting for a job?
So, like I said, it was during my third year internships that I realized. So, my first internship was with Continuum Wind Energy Private Limited. So it is like one of the biggest wind sector players in India right now, I guess. So in that internship, I helped the company to identify certain faulty meters that they had in their system, because of which they were not able to tally the losses that were taking place in their wind transmission. So in their energy transmission in the wind farms. So that was my job over there. But that my summer research internship, that was, I really enjoyed thinking for long periods of time, wherein I realized that I could just get lost, get read into more depth, and think about problems in more depth. So I really enjoyed that. And after that, then I decided that I really wanted to get into research. But since that experience was in the area of nuclear, so, and I also had a certain inclination towards batteries. That was because I really liked the third year electrochemistry course that we had. It was a core course in our third year at that time. I don't know at what stage it is for you people right now, but I really liked that. So, and I also, in the fourth year, we had a seminar, fourth year, first semester. So seminar also I did in the field of nuclear energy only. But I saw my friends who were working on in the field of batteries during the seminar, and I kind of tried to see what they were doing, and I liked that. So during the second semester of my fourth year, I did a research project on vanadium redox flow batteries, and I tried to gain experience in that also. And I was in the fifth year, I was parallelly working on the this vanadium redox flow battery project and on my DDP. And so then I liked the flow battery project more, and that's why I decided. So even for while applying for PhD, I applied for both the battery field and the nuclear energy field. And after getting some admits, I then finally decided to go for the battery field.
Wow, that has been an amazing journey. What are you currently working on?
So right now I'm working on next generation battery technology called as lithium metal batteries. So in that there is a typical problem called as dendrites, which which grow from the lithium metal anode when you're trying to charge the battery. So these dendrites, if they grow and they let's say growing from the anode, they reach the cathode, then there can be an internal short circuit, and that can lead to fires, etc. And that is also one of the causes for rapid capacity deterioration. So they haven't yet made it to the market. So a lot of research is happening in this area, and I'm also working on a technique to control this dendrite growth in lithium metal batteries. So that's my PhD project.
Oh wow, that is great. Uh, by the way, is it the same reason for why there is sudden fires in the wastelands, because there are some batteries thrown in it during compression stage, I think?
No, I think that is a totally different thing, because all the batteries that are right now getting thrown into the wasteland are not lithium metal batteries, they are lithium ion batteries, and the technologies are completely different. So I think there is some different reason to it. Lithium metal batteries are still not yet in the market, they are still in the research phase.
Oh, okay. So, what has been your best moment in your whole career?
I think the best moment has really been realizing that that my next step after graduating from IIT Bombay would be to get into research. So that realization during my third year internship has been one of the most important moments, because that is when I realized what I really wanted to do next and what drove me. So, yeah.
Okay, so I myself am an energy science student. So, is there any suggestions for me and my batchmates that what we should do uh, in future?
No, I think it really depends from person to person. The most important thing is to find out what interests you the most. That if you are more interested in the core energy sector side, then maybe you can do different internships, take up different electives in the same area, and try to find out, do you really want to go for research, or do you want to take up a job in the core sector after you graduate. And let's say if you are interested in the non-core sector, Then also there are a lot of opportunities in our institute. IIT Bombay is like very flexible in that way. So the most important thing is to find out what really interests you the most. And I think the undergrad years are the best years for doing that.
Yes, that's true. Uh, okay, so as a child, what has been your fascination? Like, what did you dream about becoming when you were a child?
No, so when I was, so things, really keep on changing, and they have really kept on changing ever since I was a child. So when I was a child earlier, when I used to watch cricket, I used to feel that I should become a cricketer. But then that was like, very childish kind of fascination. And I think almost every Indian has that when Indians are really crazy for cricket. So that was one of the things. But then when I started to grow up, then I felt that I should become a doctor of some kind and try to help the patients and try to cure them. But then when I grew up, I realized that I probably had more inclination towards engineering, and so yeah, that's what really led me to this.
Yeah. Okay. So there is one basic question that many of people have, that it is said that research in battery is getting saturated and now there are not much opportunities left. So is it true?
So research in batteries, there are a lot of exciting opportunities. I don't think it is true that it is getting saturated. There are a lot of people really working in this battery field right now, and a lot of innovation is taking place on developing different battery materials for next generation batteries. But then there are also a lot of different next generation batteries that are being tried out. So there are I would say at least 4 or 5 types of next generation batteries that are being tried out. And then again there are a lot of problems in each of these batteries. So still there is a lot of scope and potential for people to get into this and really solve this problem. And having said that, then even if you look at it from not a materials perspective, even systems perspective needs to be really looked into. Because let's say you want to design new batteries which you want to use in electric vehicles, or you want to use for grid storage, etc. So there is a different area called as battery management systems, where you really try to design these systems and try to design control systems, etc. for this, as to how you should use them. So different kinds of batteries will have different characteristics. So again, that is so since new generation batteries are being developed, you need new generation control technologies, etc. for these different kinds of batteries, etc. And then again, right now there is also another field which is really coming up, that is about the wearable electronics. So something similar to Fitbits, etc. That is very common. So these wearable electronics also, you sometimes need energy storage in that. So supercapacitors, batteries, small batteries, they are also needed in those areas. So again, you might want to, if you want to wear it on your body, you might want it to be flexible. So designing flexible batteries. Then again, flow batteries are coming up. So there is a lot of opportunities, because there are many different kinds of batteries that are being designed and being explored, and all of them have their own problems which need to be solved.
Okay. So I think this will be the concluding question from my side. What are your future goals and plans?
So after I do my PhD, I think I will look for a postdoctoral position, try to get more research experience, and probably uh, something related to energy, in the energy field, but maybe in a different area, because that helps me diversify my skill set. And after the postdoc is done, then I would like to get a faculty position back in India.